Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for another emotional journey on the roller coaster of deliciousness that is Chilling Wargamers with our Relics special. I am, of course, your host, Andy2D6, and as always, my co-host, the champion of Relics himself, Mr. Spud Tate.
Hello everybody, welcome to the show. It's awesome to have everybody. How are you, Andy?
I am very well. Are you prepared for this show?
I'm 100% prepared as always.
Are you going to be a little more coherent than last week?
Mate, I was on the ball last week. I was actually probably
You were on something last week, yes. I'm not sure if it was the ball.
It was definitely a ball.
And making up this terrible trio that we've put together here, we have Mr. Chris, the Tour Gaming Events Manager. Hello.
Hi everybody.
How are you this fine evening?
Yeah, I'm good. Really, really good. Looking forward to this.
Yeah, I did go and just have a shave quickly before this episode, so at least one of us looks remotely civilized.
What?
Beards are civilized.
Yep.
Don't know about that. So, Relics, of course. Stitch punk, hint of fantasy. How else would you describe it?
Steampunk-esque, definitely. What with the new one? Stitch punk, yep. High fantasy, skirmish meets unit skirmish combat.
There's bits of everything in there, doesn't it? It has elements of sci-fi and elements of fantasy, definitely. So, look at this delicious rulebook. I think you can just about make out the word Relics on there. And if you were to delve into your Relics rulebook, which you should all have by now, you would see page upon page of delicious backstory and rules. Spud,
Yeah.
I know you're the backstory, the fluff expert, the fluffer of Chilling Wargamers, if you will.
Yeah.
So, would you like to give us some more information on the background for Relics?
Of course I will, Andy. Of course I will. So, just with my hands. So, Relics. In the world of Relica, there is these magic fairies called the Vitir. They come down, and they love this little place called Relica. They were chilling out and stuff. On this planet was the evil humans, obviously like us, and they was actually going across the lands, wanting more land, more land. There was another faction called Orkner. The Orkner was some giant, blonde-haired, friendly, earth-loving people, so they were pretty much based on me. And then you had some sort of like dwarf-looking Centaurian-ish, Roman-esque backgrounded people called the Newem. They're like the dwarfs. So anyway, the humans are going around, kicking everyone's butt, trying to get more land. The Newem, some lizard people come out of this cave and say, look, if you come with us, we'll send you to a new land, and you'll be set up for life. So the Newem were like, that sounds like a sick idea. So they follow him into this cave. When the cave, boom, door's shut. Anyway, so I'll get back to the Newem. So while this is all happening, the humans are pushing more and more and more out. They're killing more of the Orkney people. And the Vitir are like, hang on a minute, we don't like these humans, so we're going to start making this magic spell that'll wipe out the entire human race. So as the Vitir are making this spell, they actually realise by the time they finish making this spell, it was so powerful it's actually going to wipe out everything, including themselves. So as they're doing this, they actually start pulling this spell, so it doesn't go off like obviously as big. While they're doing this, it accidentally explodes, and it's called, obviously it's like a big bang. At this time, obviously Newham are in a cave, so they're okay. The Orkney, a few of like the shamans and stuff, managed to protect themselves in a magic bubble. A few of the humans managed to actually protect themselves in a magic bubble. Everything else is pretty much wiped out. As this explosion has gone off, all the Vitir that were there have actually like warped and melted into like a magically kind of evil kind of way. The Orkney, because they're in love with the earth and obviously beautiful people like me, they actually transformed into these earth-looking rocky monstrosities of doom. So anyway, all that's happened, and then we'll go back to the new, so it'd be like a cutscene in a film. We'll go back to the new. In this cave, they're actually torturing and putting these dwarfs into pain suits, what they're like mining suits. And when they're doing that, eventually there's a little girl that's born, and it's a Puri in game terms, and she manages to break out the new free, and that's why new like pain, and they continue to build robots and stuff like that. And my name's Spud, and I'm Relics.
Spud, you did say you were going to struggle before the show. That is the most in-depth breakdown of the Relics backstory I've ever heard in my life.
Well, to be honest, yeah, I could have just made it up and it'd been funny, but I couldn't really. It was in my kind of way. The rule book itself has got all the background mainly about each faction and each model, and it's amazing. It's one of the best things I've ever read. I know it sounds weird, but it is.
It has actually been rumoured, Spud, that you have the Relics rulebook tattooed on the inside of each eyelid. Is that correct?
I do, yeah. It does, yeah. I've got it in other origins, but we're not allowed to show them on live cameras.
Well, on that note, if anyone's got any questions about Relics, don't hesitate to drop them in. We have a panel of utter experts here at your disposal.
Hell yeah.
Yes, including you, Chris.
So, let's go.
So, Mr. Spud, shall we continue our breakdown with looking at each of the factions individually in game terms? So, let's start with the Britannans, shall we? These are, of course, your little stitched together puppet soldiers that everyone seems to love so much.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I forgot about them. It's bollocks. So, yeah, I missed that part of the story. So, anyway, another cutscene comes along. And, yeah, the Britannans are actually the puppets that the humans created to fight against everybody else because there was not a lot of humans left at the end.
Well, I'm glad you revisited that bit, Spud.
Yeah.
So basically, there was these bubbles that the Magisters created to save humans, to protect them from the spell. But the downside to it was that it actually made the people inside inside these domes go absolutely mad. And now that they have a King George leading them, the madness of King George is actually in the game. Just throwing that in there as well.
Let's see. I knew it was a good idea having you on the show.
Ah, my work here is done.
So, in game terms, the Britannans probably the most numerous model-wise on the table.
Yeah.
They're not quite as elite as the others. They are going to overwhelm you with numbers, and they do have some quite powerful magic. Not quite as powerful as some of the other factions, but they do have some magic, unlike your faction of choice, Mr. Spud.
My faction of choice pretty much have, to be honest, they have no magic at all. Mine are the big loving rock monsters. We have no magic at all, so...
No magic, but one of them does have a really long tongue.
She has a 5-inch tongue, which she heals herself or other creatures around her.
Yeah, with her Lick It Better special ability.
Yeah.
And that's the Eldmoder, isn't it?
Yep, the model. Yeah, delicious.
Oh, well, that's just inspiring, isn't it?
So
yeah,
the Orknar are really a get in your face and smash you kind of faction, aren't they?
Yeah.
Bricked to the face, yeah.
As Spud's tactics usually demonstrate, there isn't a lot of finesse about the way Spud approaches Relics when it comes to the Orknar.
No, my turns are not very fast. It's pretty much like if I went, I just moved something, they'd go mess about, do magic, stupid things like shooting and
Pre-measuring.
Pre-measuring. And then it'd come over to me, I'd move something. Then it goes to them and then do all that again. And then it just goes like that. And then eventually I get in combat and just kill everything in its ace.
But that doesn't happen all the time, though, does it, Spud? Because, correct me if I'm wrong, you went to a tournament a couple of weeks ago and didn't win.
Well, I did. We actually drew on victory points.
Yeah.
But on kill points, the other player killed more than me.
And what was he running with?
He was using the Vitia.
Well, let's talk about them, shall we?
Do let's. So the Vatir are, of course, your magical little elves. They have just a ton of magic, more magic than anyone else. They're better at casting spells than anyone else. They're fairly elite, aren't they? They're kind of like, if you can get up there and smash them when they're not in the right position, then you can really take them out. But when they start getting their combos together of all their different abilities and getting all their spells off, they're very, very tricky to deal with, as you found out, Mr. Spud, on a couple of occasions.
If they take two of the most powerful casters in the game and you don't take one of them out as fast as possible, you're pretty much done for, because they just, every time you take a wound off one, the other one just heals it, and if you do it the other way around, it's the other way around. So it's just like kind of, you've got to get in as fast as you can, or shoot, or whatever, try take out one of the main casters, and then the rest of it kind of might fall to pieces.
So very much a glass hammer of an army. Either you stop it when it's in the middle of the board, or if it gets into your lines, it just rips you apart. Yeah,
it's, as an Orkney player, it's pretty hard to cope with, because obviously I've got no magic or magic resistance with the units that I took to the tournament. So I've learned that for next time. Take some more magic resistance for if I go against the Vatir, and I think I should probably do a lot better.
And obviously, with your tactics with the Orknar, you're running forwards. With most people with the Vatir, they're running forwards as fast as possible. So I take it that the two armies, that you just get into combat and it just goes horribly wrong for you.
Yeah, because obviously I can't counter their magic, so they can be casting magic and bumping themselves up, healing themselves, and I ain't actually got anything to do with that. So I've got to get in there before them and try to beat them on the charge.
And if you think that the Vatir can do either or, magic or close combat, actually have a look at the stats of the Hunter Walu, because that thing is absolutely obscene.
They do have some powerful stuff, which leaves us with only the Newham, which is, of course, my faction of choice, the pagan dwarves that everyone loves so much. Spud's not a fan.
I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of the Newham. Newham are fantastic. They've got such a depressing storyline that goes with them. They're full from grace to these weird, warped, twisted creatures that they are now, who have just thrown off the chains of oppression, come out into the daylight, and they're very angry.
They are. They do have some very angry facial expressions on them, especially the Dominie. He's kind of like...
Yeah.
We like pain. We're going to inflict it on you all now.
They do have a lot of pent-up rage to get out. The Newham, I see them as the most well-rounded of the different factions. They can do everything quite well. They've got good magic, good combat, good shooting. They're not like top tier in any one area, but they're not lacking in any area either. So they can cope with pretty much anything. You can specialise them a bit though, depending what you take in the army. If you take more of a certain element, then obviously it's going to be leaning in that direction a bit more. I haven't won a tournament with them yet.
Yeah, it's because you pre-measure so much. But yeah, the most the most thing in Relics is there's no unit composition. So if Andy wanted to take a full army of Dominie at 75 points each, he could do. Or I could take my Lick It Better lady as many times as I want to. And that's kind of what makes it more cool. Before that other game did it we did it first. And I think that's really cool, because if you want to go all combat or all shooting with one specific unit, you can do.
But I did find that they did suffer. I played a couple of games on Monday nights at a local club down in Worcester, and my opponent, who was also new, made me pay for taking nothing but Dedicatus and Apiary, and then I decided to switch out and just run completely ranged units for the next game. Did a little bit better, but still lost.
What were you playing against?
Britannin.
How did you not beat him?
Well,
I always find that whenever I play against Britannin with Newham, all my stuff gets killed pretty much. But then I do quite well on the objectives, because Britannins are generally quite static. They're slow and they're ranged, so they stay at the back of the board quite a bit.
Very slow.
Well, actually, in this one, I had Highlanders running at me in the face. I had Dragoons. We talked about Britannans being a horde army, you can run them as a horde army. However, they do have the specialist units in there that are worth quite a few points. That if you ran with those, they tend to be smaller, more elite armies. And I did have to deal with Highlanders and Dragoons running about the place stealing objectives, and those marksmen. Oh, who put them down to 22 points? Was it you, Gavin?
I know why there were 22 points though, because if anything gets in combat with them, they just die.
Yeah, but they have 4 dice to shoot with and the ability to actually change the dice, one dice facing up or down.
Or if they don't like the idea of that, they can just re-roll one of them.
You know, we didn't actually mention the mechanic of the game.
Well, this is an hour show, Spud. We've only been going about 15 minutes.
I know, but after last week's debacle, I didn't want to forget anything quite important.
We didn't leave anything out of that important in the Drop Zone special, did we?
There was one point, yeah, but we won't bring it up. We'll bring it up on the next one.
So anyway, the mechanics of Relics?
I think you can sum it up in one phrase, can't you? It's all about the doubles.
Oosh.
Spud, would you like to take us into further depth?
Oh, okay, yeah.
You're on a roll tonight.
No problem. So anyway, in Relics, it's all about rolling doubles, not triples, just doubles. So if you did roll 4d6 and there were 2 2s and 2 3s, that would be 2 hits against the enemy. When you're choosing to fight against an enemy, if they've got, say, a defense of 1 and you have an attack of 4, you actually just remove one of those dice and you've still got to roll a double on 3d6 instead of 4. That's if there's 0. And that's pretty much the easiest way of telling you all without showing you. Because it's pretty, and then there's other little things like when you can like do gang ups and stuff, so it makes it a lot easier to get more doubles in like statistics kind of way. And that's really it. Really, it's just as I said, just always trying to roll a double, and it's really different. And I've only run a few demos in my time.
Just a few.
And I don't think one person has said they didn't like it for the doubles mechanic. This just like this is like awesome. This is mental.
And also, isn't it?
Once you get the, like, me and Andy could probably do like a 200-point game, and it'd probably maybe take us 20 minutes, half an hour. If Andy did pre-measure everything, it'd be fine. It would just.
I would do that.
Yeah. But yeah, if you were going against somebody who knows quite a lot of rules, a 200 to 300-point game would not last that long, because it's just obviously just about having a laugh.
Yeah, I think when you get into it, and you, as you say, you've got the rules down, start looking at 10 minutes per 100 points of game, I think.
Yeah,
it's quite realistic.
Easy. I think once you've got the main mechanic down, and you could pretty much play a game with just the mechanic on its own with nothing else, and then that's how kind of we learned, because we were all rubbish anyway. And then after that, start putting your other rules, and it makes it even more fun. And you're like, wow, that unit's really, really awesome.
Yeah. So you look at the stats for the Britannian troopers to begin with, and they've got 2 dice with a range of 15. So each trooper can either roll 2 dice looking for a double, which obviously is 1 in 6, as we worked out. And do you fire with those guys, or do you use one guy to shoot with, and then the other 2 add a dice to that guy as a gang up attack? So you're rolling with 4 dice. And obviously that gives you a better chance of rolling doubles. And sometimes you just want to be greedy and roll the 2 dice twice.
Of course, there are occasions where it would be better to have more attacks, even with a lower chance of scoring a hit. For example, if you're in the final turn, you really need to kill something that's got 2 damage points left on it. There's no point ganging up to give yourself 3 dice, because you can only ever get 1 double on those. So there are times where you want to do it. But any game, really, where what you need to get on the dice is always the same. It's just the amount of dice that you're rolling. Those are the easiest ones to teach people to play. It's really easy to get into, really quick.
Yeah. Also, I'd probably suggest, if you are watching this and you're still kind of new and you're just playing with your friends, I'd probably go on the website and download the scenario packs, and then you'll see more realistically about how your army would play. Because if you just do like one-on-ones all the time, you do notice one army is kind of overpowered against another one, because it happens in demos all the time. They're like, yeah, I ain't even hardly moved and I'm dead. And you're like, well, if it had been a scenario-based driven game when you had to pick up objectives and stuff like that, you would have had the massive advantage over them. And they really, and obviously there's like six or eight scenarios on there, so you've got quite a lot of selection at the moment. There'll be a lot more coming out soon as well.
For example, if you're a unit that's fast and fights in close combat, then that's all very well in a scenario game because you can also use that speed to go around and hop on objectives and different things. But if you're just playing it straight, kill or be killed, and moving into combat, if you're moving really fast into something that's tougher than you, that's not really a good idea.
No.
So part of their advantage is their speed, which wouldn't really come into it in that kind of scenario. So I'm going to take a quick look over at the comments and see what we've had so far. We've got Mr. Bazooka J. Rambo watching, as always, the legend himself.
What a hero.
He thinks we should have Relics the movie, directed by Spud.
Hell yes. Could be in talks. I'm not even joking. We've been working on it for a little while now. We're going to have to have Brad Pitt in it because he's in everything these days.
Who would you cast him as, the puppeteer?
Brad Pitt with the puppeteer because I think he can have quite a I don't mind him as actor. He's okay. I'd probably I don't know who else. What else could we have in Relics?
Well, it depends how much you could muscle him up or use CGI. Or you could just use his voice as a dedicatus or something.
No. There's more ugly people for that.
What about the Fury who would play her?
I was about to say the Fury, Keira Knightley. I don't know why, but I could just imagine it sounding really posh. And she's quite thin, so she kind of got it all down in one.
Just floating around, drawing power from everyone else's pain.
Yeah, without arms or legs.
Yeah, women are good at that.
Yep.
Oh dear, Spud.
Yeah, anyway.
We've broken you after 25 minutes of the show.
Yeah.
We've got 6 live viewers at the moment. Oh, it's just jumped up to 7 as soon as I said that.
And I'm not even watching it myself, so yes.
It's emotional.
Relics film, hopefully in 2020, it'd be good.
So, of course, if people want to learn all about Relics, other than watching this show, which is highly educational, informative, and entertaining at the same time, you should be going over to the Relics Facebook group and also the Tor Gaming website. They're just full of useful information. Also,
the Facebook group is very, very awesome as well. Sorry, go on.
It is the Facebook group. It's like the core of the community, isn't it? So many people have been inspired to get into Relics just from seeing the various things that popped up on the Facebook group, people's work in progress and such.
We've actually gained almost 100 likes in the past month on the Tor Gaming Relics specific sites, and that's since the Derby show. People have been posting their pictures of their painted miniatures, and there's fireworks in the background somewhere.
Yes, yeah.
And people are just like, oh, what's all this about? Let's go have a look. And where most of the witty banter and most of the conversations are taking place is actually on the Facebook page. We're obviously looking to get a forum set up soon, but obviously we would love to keep the Facebook page taken over and running as well. We've also, if you're interested and you're in the Nottingham area, on the 30th of November, we'll be at Sanctuary Gaming with a Relics Day about all things Relics, doing demos, talking about it, playing bigger games than the demos, and we'll also have some stock on hand as well.
And also, you have the most delicious demo person in the world.
Oh, behave you. Oh, no, you. Yeah, okay, yeah. No, Spud's going to be demoing.
Spud, are there any truth to the rumours that there is actually going to be a model based on you for the Orkney called the Demoder?
Yep, it is. It's actually out. We're in the new Game Funder, so.
But all it does, it just shows the other units in the army how to fight.
Yeah. Just like, look, if you don't do this, I'm going to slap you.
Yeah, basically, when they fail an attack, if the Demoder's nearby, just go. And they get to re-roll everything.
Re-roll it, or I'll eat you.
That would be a great T-shirt slogan, I think.
Yeah.
I think people would actually follow that, Spud, if you were wearing it. There would be a little bit of fear creeping in there into the community. Oh,
So-
we've also got Graham Collin watching.
Go on, great.
I didn't need to say that though, really, because he's always here.
He's such a nice guy. Supporting
always-
CWG.
Always smiling.
He is.
Okay, so guys, I've got a question.
Oh.
Since you guys have been playing for a good couple of months longer than I have, in your opinion, where would people go to build their armies after the starter sets? What do you think is the next logical step for, say, I will start with the Orknar player. I'm new to Orknar. I've bought a starter box. What do I get next, bud?
Okay, I'm going to suggest. I know you said you only said one thing, but I'm going to suggest three things. What are quite important, and they are very important for the Orknar. And first of all is the ear molder, the person that licks everything better. Because her command range is like really good. She has that ability, and she's very, very cute. The second thing I'm gonna say is an Earton. These are massive, giant hulking monsters with, like, just smash everything to pieces. They're really, really cool. And the third thing is probably, well, the last thing you could probably get, but especially if you're playing against like Britannans and stuff, the Englide. Englide are like your infiltrators, and also have an anti-magic kind of aura around them. So if they're in 6 inches of a spellcaster, it makes it a lot harder for them to cast. And especially when you're going against such things as Britannans, when it's a gun line, or I know some new players that have gun lines as well. But you're pretty much in their face straight away with them before the rest of your army comes in. So they have to deal with one or the other. So they're really good for that. And I'll just stick to those three for now. I could go on forever about Orknar. But
I suppose the best person to ask about the new one would be Andy.
I think it probably would, as the figurehead of the Newham Brotherhood. So I would say, after the starter set for the Newham, 2 things immediately spring to mind. One would be the Tormentor, because in the starter box you don't get any units that have ranged attacks on them, so that's definitely a good one to have, because it's just nasty. Ignoring defense, splash damage on all nearby units, close units to whatever was hit. Can't go
Pretty
wrong with
decent
that.
range of 12 as well. It's got a decent range.
Yep, not to be sniffed at all. And also, I would say either some of the automatons, basically, either the Concursus or the Sagittarius, because the Puri that you get in the starter box has an ability to bring those back to life, which is very useful. But obviously, you don't get any of them in the starter box, so to get the most out of that, you'd want to get some. And they are just good in general.
I'm going to say, can I add the Domini as well? I think it's once you get to certain point levels, Domini is very, very dominant.
It's really good. I'm not sure I would add it immediately to the starter box, because you'd be very commander heavy. So maybe after you've got Tormentor, a couple of automatons, then move on to the Domini, because it is very good. It's a very cool model as well.
And don't actually underestimate the power of those penitentiums as well. Those dwarfs with the chains flailing around are ridiculously cheap for what they actually do, and they're brilliant objective runners as well.
They are. They're very cheap, mainly because of the fact that they die much more easily than any of the other Newham stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They're about the only things that don't have any kind of hardened or save or defense or anything protecting them. But if you keep them near a Puri, she has Obscure on everyone that's near her, which is basically like having defense. So you can protect them a little bit.
Well, I'm going to take the question on the Britannian and what you should get after the starter box set for them. Because having played with them and played against them, I can definitely say marksmen are high up on the list of priorities for me. And I would go to either get a colour party for the actual 6 troopers that you've already got in your starter pack, or start looking at a puppeteer, because the puppeteer is absolutely fantastic, coming in with 2 defense and 2 damage, and Dance of the Marionettes. So just, gets either a unit moving or actually distracts an opponent's unit, and starts to actually repair your damaged troopers and other damaged units. So long as the unit hasn't been completely wiped out in one turn, it's got a lovely little spell that'll put miniatures back into the unit.
Marksman definitely a must-have, I think, and then also quite early on I would start looking at Highlanders as well.
Mm. Oh yeah, without a shadow of a doubt, the Highlanders give it some much-needed, excellent close combat punch.
If we're going to add another unit in there, I'd probably suggest the dogs as well for the battalions. I actually I had the full force of the hunting packs at the last tournament, especially against for my Orkney things. Because like I was saying about how many dice, the giant gribbly thing, the ear turn actually gets 5 dice trying to roll a double, and it gets to up one of them dices if it really wants to. So you have to imagine like normal troops probably will get like 2 or 3 dice. This has 5. It's really, really powerful. Against the dogs, automatically I lose a dice because I'm in base contact with the dogs, and I lose another dice because they've got actually a defense of 1. So they're one of those like bog down units. If someone has something big and gribbly, they just throw them in and just bog them down. They're really, really helpful.
And again, really, really cheap for what they actually do. I think they're rocking in on 9 points, something like that.
9 points, you get 8 of them in a unit.
So what have we got there? We've got, after the starter box set, we're all agreed on marksman being absolutely fantastic.
Definitely.
Highlanders, I think we're all agreed on those. And if you've got it, if you've got the time to do it, puppets pack.
Yeah.
So get those, and that's the core of your army, pretty much all sorted. So fairies.
Yes, who wants to guide us through them? I've never actually played against them yet. I just haven't been matched up with them in tournaments. So who's the leading expert?
I'll go against them. So you get the Farbrays, you get the elf spun little fairy things, you get that leader, and do you get the
Various.
Yeah, do you get various in it?
Yeah, you get 3 various in it. I got a picture of, not a picture. I've got one of the starter sets here.
Okay, so let me just have a quick look. It's really blurry. Right, okay. Yeah, so straight away I'm going to say the Hunter Walu is, I know he's another commander, but he is awesome. For me, I think he's really cool.
If there's any army where it can't hurt to overload on commanders, it might be the Vizier, just because they're all so good at casting their magic.
Yeah, I'd probably choose the Hunter Walu. And after that, the actual just Kawalu, the little ones with the rapiers.
Mm-hmm.
Those guys are mental. If you had like a big unit of 4 of them, they are the scariest thing ever. Even against like an Orkney player, I'd try avoid them. And then the 3rd unit, maybe a Vestonen, maybe a Vestonen or 2, but just for the pure hide behind these Vestonen, because I think that could be it.
Oh yeah, the first time I played against the Vizier, my friend took a Hunter Walu, and that thing was just chucking spells left, right, and centre. And I thought, wow, if that thing's chucking that many spells, it can't be that great in close combat, surely. And then it did this thing which gave it a load of extra dice, and I was just like, oh, it must need to do that because its base stat line must be really, really rubbish for its attacks. Let's have a look. 5 dice? What? And then this thing came screaming into a unit of Britannian dolls and ripped them apart. So yeah, definitely agree with the Hunter Walu. I've played against units of 2 Kwalu, and they were pretty nasty because they're obscured as well, aren't they?
Yeah, and they ignore it as well, I believe.
That's just wrong, and they've got something to do with they feed off of people's souls. Yes, so there's some non-run-of-the-mill stuff in with them.
Yeah, they can, like, once a unit dies near them, they gain a soul counter, and they can discard it when they take a wound and they don't take that wound. And then I think the other one is that they can add some X amount of attacks or something to the thing.
And that Vestonen as well, those things are quite scary. That you put it in the centre of your force, you just march forwards under a blizzard of fire because that thing is just so tough, has so many damage points that it just won't die. And you know, as soon as it hits your line, it's going to kill stuff.
So if
That's a big stone thing, isn't it?
If you're up against a Vizier, you really want to make sure that you're sending in lots of non-living units at them then, so they can't be leaving their souls all over the place to be harvested. Now, we have had a question while we've been talking from Mr. Blackblade68, another legend. He wants to know when the Demoder is going to come out. Now, I think he means the actual Demoder and not the Demoder.
I'll let Chris.
Have we got any inside info on that, guys?
Okay, the inside info on that is that I believe Gavin is speaking to the casting people to get some bits and bobs sorted. So there should be news about that in the foreseeable future. We've had the resin production, the master model that's been painted up, and it looks absolutely fantastic. And we're not putting it into the displays because we know when people see it, they're just going to go, "I want that one," and we don't have it yet. But it looks absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, it looks awesome. I've seen some other casts as well that have come back and they're really good. I don't know if we're allowed to talk about them, but yeah, everything looks awesome.
God, the Ruiner is absolutely huge.
Chris says we're allowed to.
No, rock on. Let's go for it. The Ruiner, which is the Newham Big Daddy, is not tall because let's face it, the Newham are dwarfs. So why would their machines be massively tall? This thing, however, is so wide and so thick that it's just an absolute beast. I think it really does represent the stat line really, really well. 6 dice in close combat for 60 points. Thank you very much.
And also, if anyone's seen the Sol yet.
Yep, seen the Sol.
The thing is huge. It's
thing
actually bigger than anything. It's bigger than an Eaton. So.
I cannot wait to see what some of the people do when they get their hands on that beautiful miniature, when they get it painted up, all on fire. It's going to be a real centerpiece of an army, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it's humongous.
I think the world of Relics conversions is going to only get better as time goes on, as well as more of the models coming in are being mostly resin now rather than just metal, which is of course slightly easier to deal with.
Speaking of conversions, up on the Relics page on Facebook, if you guys aren't a member, go over there and join it now. This week, I think it was a Frenchman posted up his Newham. Did you guys see his Newham? All those suits with all the extra...
Is that the guy who's put the parts from War Machine models?
Yeah.
Do they?
Quite tasty.
Fantastic, yes. Go over to the Facebook page, have a look, hit the like, and go and have a look through it down the thread. It's not that far down.
Yeah, a lot of the Newham stuff is ripe for conversions already because quite a lot of it is resin.
I've accidentally got a new army as well, and I've converted it quite a bit already, even just with the metal parts.
Accidentally, what's in this bag? Oh, it's a Newham army. Damn, I accidentally picked that one up.
I just wanted to show these. I know my camera's not great, but they're actually the demoed models.
They certainly have curves, don't they?
Look at those butt cheeks.
Nobody told them about carbs when they were growing up.
No, carbicide.
Yeah, so there's quite a few releases to come soon, and it looks like very, very soon all of the profiles in the core rulebook are going to be completed.
That's going to be really exciting for the Newham. There's a couple of quite speedy Newham units that aren't currently out, which it feels like that's the one thing that's occasionally lacking from the Newham is a bit of speed. So if they get released at some point, I'll be very pleased indeed.
I really shouldn't have shown those models because Gavin doesn't know I've taken them.
Oh, what's the chances that he's watching this?
Yeah, fine.
Yeah, he'll be doing something else. He'll be making a cup of tea or something.
Yeah.
That's what he tends to do.
In Judge Dredd or something like that, yeah. Mm.
Yeah. So, for people who want to try out this wonderful game but they don't want to make any financial investment without trying it first, fear not, because if you go over to the Tor Gaming website, you can download a PDF of the rulebook. All you have to do then is throw some proxy models on, try them out for yourself, and when you, of course, enthralled and enraptured and end lots of other things with the rules, then you'll immediately go and buy the beautiful hardback copy and some starter sets. And then you'll get all your friends into it, and then the Relics community will just continue to expand until it's covered the entire globe.
Yep. It's going to be awesome.
Spud.
And
yep, world domination.
You can actually win yourself one of these delicious certificates that I've got here. on the wall.
Yeah, that is Spud's Wall of Triumph.
Yeah, just here. I'll just show you again. Just here. Here's my first place one, my second place one. The next tournament, hopefully I come third. So then I have like one of each.
Yeah, I've only got one certificate so far. I haven't seen the need to actually dedicate a wall to my triumphs yet.
Well, I've
Maybe
achieved
next
nothing
time.
else in life, so I thought, well, it's going to be a pretty good thing to put those on there.
Well, all I can say is last tournament I went to, I won a trophy, and it was golden. It was fantastic.
But I'm sure it wasn't Relics.
Nobody will be soon. I can't wait to get stuck into the tournament scene, but I'm also looking forward to organising some campaign days. I think the word tournament sometimes puts people off, and I think we need to organise events that are about just campaigns, people turning up and playing game after game with their hopefully lovely painted armies, and just having an impact on the Relic world.
Yeah, the word tournament is sometimes a little bit misleading because people look at it as this ultra competitive people going over the rules, making sure that you've got within a millimetre of everything right down to the finest detail. If the table shakes, then they have to go and review security camera footage to see if all the models are in exactly the right spot, down to the tiniest grain of sand. But the Relics tournaments aren't really like that at all. It's a very friendly atmosphere.
It's been awesome. The last one was beautiful. We were very, very emotional. There was a few tears. I managed to get everyone to sing One Direction by accident, and the food were awesome where we were. It was just an awesome day, awesome event, beautiful, everything really awesome.
And since poor Mr. CB the Maniac isn't with us, we can point out that he finished last.
Yeah, Stevie did come by last, because he's not here tonight because he's with his other half. Yay. But he come last.
I do not think that means what you think it means. Of course, just while we're on the topic of tournaments, I should just point out that the next tournament that's been organised is 300-point tournament, and that's down at or up, depending on where you are, at Worcester.
Down for most people.
Yeah, it's very, very down.
But it's got good network, rail network transport. So site and have a good look for that and sign up.
I'm hoping that someone nearby to me will be attending so that I can get a lift, so it remains to be seen. I'm not sure how the Leeds people feel about having to go that far. That may rule them out a little bit.
Yeah, it's far too far for me, to be truthfully honest.
That's the thing, as a game expands, it has to reach out to a variety of different areas. Can't just have everything within striking distance of Spud, sadly.
No, I think in fact we're going
to 3.5 hour drive, so it's pretty deep.
We're looking at getting Spud down to Crusade at the end of January, and Minicon in Gloucester. Crusade's in Cardiff, by the way, and Minicon is in Gloucester, so that you can say hello to all the wonderful and beautiful people there. Show them how to play Relics and
give them Relics fever.
Sounds really weird, but I must have had easy over maybe 50 to 100 demos now, and still now I still enjoy it, and that's very strange. And I know, like when I do the demos, like the other guy that's with us, Colin, he actually goes, "Why are we so happy still?" I don't know, it's ace. And seeing like younger people and stuff get into the game and going, actually, I understood it, and I really like the models, is kind of like what I kind of wanted to do. Like when I went to I went to Slayer Gaming with that girl, and she was like, I don't like dice games, and I showed her it, and she was like, that was the best thing I've ever done.
And then you posted the comment on Facebook.
Yeah.
Feelings
were had. Yeah, feelings and emotions were had. It was awesome.
They certainly were. Right, I'm going to refresh the comments page again. Oh, we've got a couple. We have one from Mr. Gareth White. He says, is there going to be another Northern tournament? If so, when?
We could try maybe doing it at the grid ourselves. Maybe put one on there. I have to speak to those guys or the Outpost.
I'm sure there will be. It's just a question of when. Everyone says
there are so many places now that you actually hold the tournament too. So you've got the grid, you've got outpost, you've got sanctuary. I mean, there's so many really good places where we can hold them. And what we want to do is not flood the market with tournament after tournament after tournament. We want to keep this actually quite fresh. So I will look into having a conversation with Gavin and seeing about getting some official Relic tournaments set up. But at the end of the day, you guys are free to organise whatever tournaments or local in-house ones that you want. I'm not just talking to Spud and Andy here, not just talking to the Rangers, I'm talking to you guys out there. You're more than welcome to set up an event, give us a bell, send me an email, chris@gaming.com.
You don't have to leave such a long pause between all the
Seeing what
words.
sort of advertising we can do for you.
So anyway, that was chris@targaming.co.uk. I think he's gone.
.co.uk. Yeah.
Oh, he's still here. Yeah, you crossed out, mate. So
I am.
he's still here. So yeah, Chris is
My
here.
internet connection.
Disgraceful. We have had another comment as well. Blackblade 68 is demanding to see your secret Newham army, because this is Chilling Wargamers and we have all the exclusives apparently.
Just give me one moment. You two discuss about Relics, and I'll go grab it.
Right
I'm not
then.
taking my t-shirt off though.
Well, we weren't really expecting you to. Okay, so this Relics game.
He's gone.
Oh, he's back already.
Oh wow, that was so soon. No, we're still free to talk about him.
I need to open it.
We didn't have a chance to slander you or anything.
Right. So anyway, I've just got in the I've got like a normal Dedicatus with base.
Sure enough,
literally
his dance
base.
moves.
Yeah, wiggling. I've got another Dedicatus with the different face. You can probably couldn't see the theme going on here. I've got another, not a Dedicatus, the other one.
They're both Dedicatus, but one's Dolo Dedicatus, one's Metis Dedicatus.
I've got a converted Tormentor, but I ain't finished that yet. And I've actually got another Tormentor, but it's just normal.
Oh, what's this going on Chris's screen? Oh, he's taking it away just as I focused it on him. That cheeky swine. Right, back to Spud we go.
I've got a the Jenna. I've actually done it like the artwork and like moulded, well not moulded, placed some chains on its wrists that are probably going to last about 5 minutes.
Well, you have to store them carefully when you're dealing with little metal chains, that's the only thing.
And this is the major secret of what I was saying about conversions. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of do the same thing as what the that guy did on the internet and steal some legs and give them more legs than two because I think it's really cool. But this is my idea. This is actually delicious.
Dun dun dun.
So it actually got a claw instead of like a fist.
Now, are those fingers actually legs from another newer model?
They are the legs from the either Domini or any of the Omotortiums, whatever you call them.
Yes, those.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm really good at explaining words. I am words.
You are a wordsmith, aren't you?
I am words.
Oh, by the way, I should tell you, Spud, Graham Collin is not really a fan of your wallpaper.
What? I've already just had this installed.
Well, I'm sure he has painful memories of wallpaper like that.
I suppose.
World War II?
Well, if you see here, I got this. So I'm on the way of decorating.
It is interesting how that big Tower of Locker sheet kind of blends in with the wallpaper, isn't it?
Yeah, this is a print of every single card in the Tower of Locker, and I was beautifully donated this by the Tower of Locker guys, Alyssa and Matt. And look at it, look how beautiful it is. Once I get normal other posters, it'll stand out awesome. Can't stop looking at it, it's so beautiful.
We'll get you some relic stuff to put in the background.
I need some Relics posters. My certificates are really small, like, you know, those certificates for coming first and second are really small.
When Tor Gaming upgrade to the Relics blimp, then you can just give Spud all the old banners that you don't need anymore.
True.
Yeah, so this is a plan that we have for running a blimp inside the events arenas and having that go around telling people exactly where to find us and what deals we have on.
Also, did you
If we
tell them
can get
about
that
the...
past.
While they were gone, did you tell them about the helicopters that'll pick up all the people that want to do the tournament as well?
No.
No.
Okay, yeah.
I think that's still in the maybe pile. Along with the putting on tournaments on a luxury yacht.
That's on the back burner now.
It'll happen one day.
Well, maybe with the next Game Thunder. Maybe that'll be like the top stretch goal.
No, it won't be.
So yeah.
I'm saddened by this.
After showing my secret army, I can't actually. I've lost a piece already.
Are you sure you didn't accidentally sell it?
It's all right. Anyway, we've got like 5 minutes now before the end of this show, and this is supposed to be for for new people. So, is there any other questions about how to get into Relics or how to find your local Relics supplier store? Any information?
Has anyone put together the list of Relics stockists yet?
In fact, there is I can actually answer that. It's on the Relics, the Tour Gaming website. If you go to Tour Gaming, there'll be a section for stockists, and there'll be a list of the stockists there. So go and contact them, or you can order direct from the website.
Wonderful. And if you keep your eyes on either the Facebook group or on the Relics Tourcast, the #1 tour gaming based podcast on the internet, then you'll hear all about upcoming events where maybe you can get demos.
And for even just for signing up to the Tour Gaming website for the store, you actually get points, and then for every time you buy something from there, you actually get more points, and then eventually be able to buy free models. Free, yeah. I tell you.
So just by signing up, you're already part way to making a purchase with money off.
Also, there's free shipping, I believe, over at X amount as well. It's pretty cool.
And sign up to the newsletter as well, and you get free points onto that.
Newsletter, yeah.
Yes, Spud, newsletter. Everybody who does a demo signs up to the newsletter. How many demos did you do at the last event, Spud?
14.
How many sign-ups did you get, Spud?
2. I'm one of them with me.
What did you get overexcited with playing demo after demo and demo and forget to do?
Tell people to sign up to the newsletter.
If I had a newspaper right now, I would be hitting you on the nose saying, bad Spud, bad Spud.
I did do 14 demos though.
What you need to do, you need to positively reinforce him when he does tell someone about the newsletter. You need to give him a treat.
I did actually feed him on the day, so that was
actually, I fed you some chicken.
Yes, you did, but it was good. It was all good.
I brought some chicken breasts in sandwich bags and distributed them to my colleagues. You never leave a man behind without chicken.
You know, Spud is definitely evolving when he's willing to share chicken with people.
Yeah.
I'm one of his Viking brothers. Of course he'd share with me.
Yeah.
So,
very true.
Can anyone think of anything else we need to mention before we go off the air? We don't want to leave people with just a huge piece of the Relics puzzle missing.
Those fireworks must be like the end of the show.
So we've talked about mechanics, how it needs to roll doubles. We've talked about all of the intro sets and where you should think about going to next. We've talked about upcoming events. We've talked about the podcast. We've talked about the website, and I think that's quite a good coverage for all you new Relic people out there to have a look. All the information is out there. Go to the website, go to the Facebook groups, have a look around, and
look at this little beauty.
Yeah, definitely Keira Knightley. I can see Keira. Spud, you are right.
From within the wonderful Relics hardback rulebook. Available for a very reasonable price from many good retailers, including direct from Tour Gaming.
Also, if you go on YouTube and put in Tour Gaming Relics and watch the community's videos that are on there, there's a lot of battle reports now up. There's real battle reports in real time. There's turn by turn activation, unit by unit activation. There's a few professionally made tutorials on there on how to put
And
some
there's
of them
also
more
spuds as well.
Harsh man.
Yeah,
But true.
I'm over the side of Manchester. But yeah, there's a few videos on there, so go check everybody out. Everyone deserves some love.
And keep an eye on the Chilling Wargamers Facebook page for any information regarding episodes that may be coming up next week, probably featuring the return of Chilling Wargamers D&D, which was incredibly popular.
Yeah, it was meant
Very
for
wide
all
appeal.
Like we just thought I would throw it out as an idea and see how it goes. And we went away for like 2 or 3 weeks, and people actually messaging and saying, "Where is it?"
People have been missing it.
It's
So,
pretty intense.
On that note, I think we should say good night out there, whatever you are.
So yeah, everyone, thanks for coming along. You're all emotional. Thanks for watching. If you're watching it now or afterwards, you're all proper sick guys. If you want a Chilling Wargamers t-shirt that I haven't got on because mine's in wash because I wear it all the time, give us a PM on Facebook and we'll send you one out for a very good price. So guys, thanks for watching. Love you all. Thanks Chris for coming on.
No problem. I hope to see you guys. Hope to see you guys up in Sanctuary on the 30th of November. If I don't see you then, hopefully I'll see you in Worcester on the 18th of January.
Boosh. Peace out, guys.